All right, everybody. Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Coach's Corner. And today I've got head coach of the Conneaut Spartans. It's Rocco Dobran. Coach Rocco, first of all, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate you getting some time. I know you guys are coming fresh off of camp.
Yeah, we appreciate. I appreciate you having me on. So.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly football has come right back upon us. I can't say I'm going to complain because I love it. I know you love it too. Let's for people who are just kind of getting to know a little bit about Conneaut and Coach Dobran in particular. Coach, tell us a little bit about your coaching story. How long you've been coaching?
I've been coaching a long time, but Conneaut for 15 years. This is year 15. It went really fast. So. I probably had about 11 years experience as an assistant coach before that. But, it went fast. It doesn't seem like I've been here that long. But it's been a good run, and I'm glad I'm still here. I'm happy that, people are happy, and hopefully we keep building on this program, So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's really a big thing, I think, that's helpful with football and programs and high schoolers in general, the stability that you guys have kind of garnered out there in Conneaut. You've become a standard. There's nobody who knows Spartans more than Rocco Dobran, that's for sure. While you've been around there for like 15 years, this year you've got some new coaches joining your staff. Let's talk about some of the coaches as a whole.
Yeah, it's a kind of unique year, and we got a lot of young, fresh energy, which is new to me and new to the program. So we're excited about that. I'm gonna start off with Coach Matt Pape. He's been with me the whole time. He was actually coaching here as an assistant before I got here, and he's been with me almost every year since. Took a couple years off in the middle there, but he's with me. But other than that, it's a very new staff. We brought in, Kiefer Mangello, just played for me quarterback about 4 years ago, and he's going to help. Young kid who knows the system, just very energetic. Tyler Pugh's our head track coach, and he's helping out, and he's excited. He's going to run our special teams, and he's going to work with our receivers, and he's going to work with Kiefer on our defensive backs. But just young energy there. Nathan Lauer played for us about 6 years ago. He's coming to our staff, so it's 2 players I got on the staff, coaching offensive line and linebackers. Another young and energetic guy, Kyle Butcher. He's been a guy that's been with our youth program for a long time, and he was at the youth program with no kids involved in the youth program, which excited me about him. Like, he's there just because he loves Conneaut football, and he played here at Conneaut. So Kyle's been a big help on our defensive side of the ball, and he's coaching our linebackers, and he's doing a great job. We're going to get Eric Hodges is going to come back. He coaches me a couple years back. So actually, Eric and Tyler both went to Edgewood, so we're glad they're over here at Conneaut now. But we gotta joke with them, right? Of course.
Yeah, a little poaching. No problems with the poaching.
They're both great teachers at Conneaut, so we're glad to have them. But we definitely got to mess with them. So, but they're doing a great job for us across the board. So yeah, so it's a lot of new names there, that you're going to hear come up when it comes to coaching, and every one of them is like they're newer to coaching. And they're younger. But what that does is it brings a lot of energy to practice. Those guys are excited, and they're excited to learn themselves, let alone teach the kids. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, and you know what, Coach? I'm sure, with coaching as long as you have and being at Conneaut for 15 years, you've probably had a ton of these full circle moments unintentionally. I don't know if you realize this or not, but you gave me a full circle moment when you mentioned a guy like Kiefer Mangello, who is a guy that when I first started, I was covering on these very same shows. So that's a pretty cool thing to see guys who are coming right back. And you guys have a pretty good culture out there and in football, and your players really can kind of look into you as their coach. And I know through talking to them, that they hold Rocco near and dear to their heart. But I've also seen you be able to kick their butt when you need to, Coach. How do you manage that balance?
I think that the biggest thing about coaching in general, teaching, coaching, any of that stuff, you got to build relationships with kids. And, and that's the only way that they're going to trust you. And I know that's like a common saying, but we really do. Like I try to have picnics at my house. I talk to them one-on-one. We bring them into the classroom and just get to know their life, their background, and just try to make them better people, and it's beyond the coaching of the X's and O's in football itself. You hope that if you're trying to raise good kids and help them become better kids, polite kids, that the football part's just going to come because they're going to be hard workers for you if they trust you. So really all I try to do is build relationships with kids, just get to know them at a personal level. And then usually that comes into, okay, now they're going to work hard for me. And then when they mess up or I get frustrated or you get on them a little bit, they know that the reason I got on them is because I love them, It's not because I'm mad at them. It's not because I hate them. I told them I get mad for like 7 seconds, right? I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to scream. 7 seconds, I'm done. I'm not even mad at you anymore. I'm over it, but everybody reacts when something goes wrong, right? So you react when something goes wrong, and I'll yell at them. And obviously some kids handle that better than other kids. But I do try to tell them all the time. I'm like, hey, if I'm yelling at you or if another coaches get on you, it's because they want the best out of you. If you're not hearing from us, if we don't talk to you ever, that's when you should worry because maybe you're under the radar. We're not even noticing you around. You're not showing us that your work ethic isn't there, that kind of thing. But I think they handle it well. But it's just got to be a natural who you are. As a coach, you got to be. Everyone's a little different. A coach a long time ago said, "Hey, don't try to be like another coach. You can learn from other coaches, but you just got to be yourself." And I think my coaching staff does a good job of just trying to be themselves and play off their own personalities.
And Coach, one of the other things that you've been very, very involved with, and I think it's helped with the Conneaut football program as a whole, is when you talk about the younger guys. You're very present for junior high. You have a big presence with the youth football league out there in Conneaut, and that's not something you necessarily see everywhere, but it's something you kind of took the bull by the horns. How important is that?
I think it's extremely important. When freshmen come in here, they know me, and if it's not a new staff, they usually know my staff pretty well. But I think that it's a part of that building relationship. If they can come in their freshman year and already have some level of trust and respect because they've seen me around from when they were 10 years old, 12 years old, and so on. It's important for a program, and I think they come into it trusting, and they come into it wanting to be a part of it. Like, hopefully they know, like, hey, this guy cares. Otherwise, he wouldn't spend his Saturdays, all day when they're 10 years old, or coming to their practices and high-fiving them guys and having my players do. They practice. Fortunately, usually they practice at the same place we do. So, when we finish practice, my seniors or juniors can go over and give those guys high fives and hopefully that hey, I want to be a Spartan one day at the high school level and I don't know if that's what it is, but our numbers have definitely gone up drastically, and this year especially. But it looks like it's going to continue for the next several years, and so we're excited about that. And I think a little bit of that plays into, being present and knowing that we care about them at a young age.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit about the high school players actually making their presence known with that youth thing, and I think that plays such a huge part. I can remember as a guy who played from youth league all the way through. Those high school guys really are like the superstars that you have access to. Everybody loves Nick Chubb, but you probably won't see him on a Saturday at your game.
And that's always a talk we have every year with the with the players. A lot of times it's a pre-game talk, maybe when we have like the youth game where they get in free, all the youth kids. But a lot of times that's a talk with them, and our character education is like, hey, these guys look up to you. You don't even realize it. Like you're a 16, 17-year-old kid, and there's a 10-year-old out there that looks up to you. Because I remember, like you said, when we were players, I remember being in 7th grade and loving the high school running back at that time. And I remember being a ball boy at like 5 or 6 years old and loving the running back for Cheney, where my dad coached. Like it was like, you look up to those guys. And so I try to tell them, hey, so when you're out here, you better not be cussing or doing the wrong things because they're looking up to you and seeing what you're doing. And, the high school kid doesn't realize that that's happening. Like, hey, these kids look up to you, and that's important to, you know, make sure you're making the right choices character wise.
Yeah, I think you kind of not kind of. I think you nailed it on the head there. You know, it's a quick reality check for some of these young guys, and that's where the leadership and letting them know, you know, that comes into play. But as we, you know, we're talking a little bit about, you know, these high schoolers and everything. Let's talk about some Spartan football and some of the guys who we're going to need to be on the lookout. You know, there's some guys who are, you know, were stat toppers last year that are coming back. But just, you know, just because of the way high school football is, you lost some guys. I know one off the top of my head in Wyatt Payne, who was just an absolute force to be reckoned with. But you know, you've got some guys coming back this year who are looking to make their mark. Who are some of the guys?
Well, you know, Isaiah ran for like, you know, 800 yards last year, and, you know, as a sophomore. So I think Isaiah Bowles is going to be, you know, a big target that people are going to try to stop at the running back position. And then our leader of the team ultimately is Kobe Stiltner. You know, he went through some growing pains last year as a junior, first year starting. But he has been an excellent leader in this offseason. He has busted his tail in the weight room, and he's busted his tail. If you drive past Conneaut High School on a random day, you'll probably see him out there throwing to somebody. He's getting some receivers involved, and he's made it a mission to improve his game. And the kids around him see it. Like, they look to him for leadership, and he's shown that. So I think when you put Isaiah Bowles at the tailback and you put a leadership guy like Kobe Stiltner at quarterback, then that kind of opens up a lot of things. You know, if you try to stop Bowles, then we can throw the ball to our taller targets like Brady Vera, who's like 6'3", 215, or Isaiah Harris, or Devontae Harris, Devontae Harris, who's 6'2", and got great hands. And then our little slot receivers like Hayes and Carrick Dobran, they're doing a good job at the slot spots. They're more the small, quick guys. But it just, we have a lot more weapons that are experienced, is what I'll say, because all those guys last year, especially, you know, the Isaiah Bowles and Devontae and Brady were all sophomores last year, and now they got an extra year under their belt, and, you know, they're coming out as juniors, ready to, you know, put the stats out there, and I think it's going to be very helpful and harder to stop on offense with that experience coming back. Where last year they were very raw and good talent, but raw, you know. So we're looking toward that, and then we got a couple other guys that, you know, might be backup running backs that I think, you know, if they get the opportunity, could do some good things. So.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you know, one thing that you guys are, I'm not sure how you guys do it, but Conneaut always seems to have just a running back who is feared across the county. You know, since I've started this, and Isaiah Bowles coming in this year, and he's going to play that spot. You know, I know you like to run the ball, but with a guy like Kobe Stiltner and the ability to pass, you know, that's always a big benefit. But you guys also lost, you know, a pretty big piece, and I think probably one of the most undercovered portions of football, in a big lineman, and Dylan Phillip, I believe, is the young man's name. Not just big in presence, but big in size as well.
Yeah, you know, we lost some offensive line. Definitely on paper, you know, him and Jaden Anderson on the left side there, two big guys for us last year. But I think the good thing is, you know, those guys started a long time for us, so they were guys that you knew were going to do well. But the thing I like about our offensive line this year is they're still pretty big, maybe not as big, but they're hungry. You know, they're hungry because none of them really have played a ton so far. So Teddy Arcaro, you know, kind of leading the way as a senior, probably left guard, maybe left tackle, but Peyton Pratt, not Peyton, he's the younger brother. Mason actually met. Mason Pratley will probably tackle. He's just been outstanding for us on both sides of the ball. So we put Chetty and Mason next to each other. It's a good thing. Jarena is only a sophomore, but he started as a freshman at center last year. And so he's just got that year of experience, and now he's a sophomore, going to be snapping the ball for us. It's just going to be that much more confident in those pressure situations. Like last year, he did a great job for us, but in pressure situations, he's a little nervous. This year, those nerves will be gone since he got 10 games under his belt last year. And then on the other side, we got some guys that are fighting for spots like Matt Swiger, Ben Griswold, who's a great wrestler for us. You got Noah Sigley and Wyatt Distal. So just some names and just some scrappy players. But when you have that kind of competition, they're all going to try to beat each other out. It's going to end up being a really good thing for our team because they're going to do a good job just on energy.
Yeah, I mean, the old saying, iron sharpens iron, and that's what you guys have got going on. But last year you talk about how some of those sophomores that were getting some big time play time last year, how they had some growing pains. You guys had some growing pains yourself as you guys get into the CVC Lake conference and back into basically a strictly Ohio conference for the first time in some time. What was the change like for you guys last year, and what are you guys kind of getting ready for this year?
It was a new league, and so the big thing is we were playing county schools again, right? So that was exciting for the kids, and like we knew, hey, their schedule is going to get harder. It's going to get harder. It's going to get tougher. We got some bigger schools there, but it's also going to be fun. And you guys want to have that excitement playing county schools. And we played Edgewood for a long time, but we got to be more than that. Now it's guys are starting to say, oh, well, who do you want to beat besides Edgewood? Oh, well, we always want to beat Jefferson. Now guys are like, well, I want to beat Lakeside the most. I want to beat and there's other teams that we didn't play very often before. So now those guys are kind of getting excited about, just the whole county. And that was the biggest change. So the competition definitely got raised the level. And that's where you want to be anyways, right? You want to be able to beat all those schools anyways. And you want to get to the level that you can do that. So I think raising the bar competition-wise is it might have hurt us last year, but I think it's a good thing going forward because it's like, hey, here's where we want to be. So now, if that's your goal, how are you going to work for it, right? Or how are you going to work toward it? So that was the biggest difference. Is just it's going to be a tough schedule, but it's going to be a more fun schedule. It's going to be more rivalries and more excitement. And I do think the kids love it. So I think they're ready for it this year more than they were last year. Going into the second year of it, they know what it looks like. They know what the schedule is going to look like. Hey, there's no questions. Boom, here's who we play. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 teams that are new, but in the lower half, the first half, but they know our last 5 games are our last 5 games. And hopefully by that point in the season, they're ready to roll,
Yeah, Coach, you're Conneaut, it's a beautiful stadium, all kinds of upgrades, but you guys are still playing on grass. And what kind of differences have you noticed? Does it give you guys any benefits? Does it feel a little bit harder when you're going over to turf when your home games are on grass and virtually everybody else is on turf?
Yeah, I mean, it's unique in the fact that we love our field. It's a very good grass. It's never been muddy in 15 years that I've been here. So definitely we'd like to play on that kind of ground, that kind of grass, I guess, because you go to some other grass fields and it's muddy and it's not the nicest and whatever. But I think when you practice every day on grass, it's a little weird going to turf for game day. It is a little weird, and I think it ain't going to be long before almost everybody has turf. And then when you're practicing on turf, I think it'll be more normal, and that kind of thing. So I think, going to turf is a good thing for a lot of these schools, and because you do play on them most weeks. But I definitely think for our kids, it's definitely not like a big disadvantage or advantage, but they enjoy grass because they practice on it every day. And then our grass field's a nice grass field. So they definitely like that, being on that field at home, but I do think there's also benefits the other way, but I think it's just a matter of practicing on it. So if we end up getting turf down the road here, it would be nice for just to practice on it. Then when they play on it, it'll be normal. It won't be that different. But we definitely love our field. We definitely love the atmosphere too.
Yeah, and you picked it right out of my brain, Coach, the atmosphere. People who have not been to a Conneaut Spartans game, I don't think realize how loud and proud it is at these Conneaut games. You've got people in the stand, super heavy. You've got guys, there's a house behind the stadium that every time I've been at a game, they always seem to have a party for those Friday night games. How is it when you've got that much community buy-in, especially in a town like Conneaut?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling for the kids when they come out, and the outsiders, like you said, first football alone, like they don't understand that feeling, that rush you get when you run out onto the field, that these players get, and they're not going to get very often the rest of their life. And then when it has that kind of atmosphere, the band's super loud all the time. Cheerleaders go nuts all the time, and they're doing a great job. And then just the community support, whether it's fundraising or whether it's showing up to the game and helping us in some way, is just awesome. And like you said, like all the way around the stadium, you're going to have people standing, watching, cheering you on. And at the end of the game, for me, if I sit back at the end of the game, especially obviously after a win, but a win at home, and then you kind of see the band playing, the kids go up to the band. Usually my little young ones come and jump on me. And the lights are still on. It's a sight, man. It's a sight, and it's why we do this a little bit. I mean, obviously you're doing it to help kids, but those feelings are good feelings, and that a lot of people don't get to experience. And they're special. And a stadium like that, a community like this in that stadium, makes those times very special.
Yeah, that's one thing that you can never take away from Conneaut is when it comes to high school sports, the community does it right. It's something I've always envied. I think it's just great. I've gone place to place, and everybody's got their own kind of flavor on it, but Conneaut just has a real concentration on it, and it is so cool and refreshing to see a town that's all in like that. Coach, not talking wins and losses, but this year, what kind of signifies a successful football year for you?
I want the kids to, like basically the culture, and it's a good culture. I think, like you said, over 15 years, we've done some good things, but I feel like we lost some things. We want to really bring back just that our leadership role of our seniors, and we want to bring back the belief, we could beat anybody. I think sometimes these kids get in their head of, before they even play the game, oh, can we win or lose or whatever? And there's never going to be an upset if you don't believe you can win, right? And just turn the belief system around and the confidence around. And a lot of that does come through the weight room, I believe, and I really believe that. And our weight room guy, this is the first time we've had over the last year, we have an actual weight room guy, Denny Distelrath, and these kids are buying into the weight room and buying into work ethic, and I hope that comes with confidence that they know that they can beat anybody on any given day. Don't look at old past scoreboards. Don't look at just go and be a team. Love each other, and believe you can win. I think if they love each other and believe they can win, and any given day they can. But I want them to believe that. I know that. I got to get them to believe. And that's my goal this year, is to get them to believe that, hey, they got to love each other, not bicker at each other. And that comes with good leadership, which like Colby and some of the seniors have done. They really have compared to last year. And hopefully that continues. And if they love each other and, and they believe they can win at any given night, I think we can win a ball game. So.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's always been the rolling statement I've made about Conneaut football is if you overlook them, you're already too late. So you guys have that going, and once those kids start believing in it, you guys can match up with anybody they put ahead of you. I just wanted to take a second to say thank you, Coach, for sitting down with us tonight on this Coach's Corner. I want to wish you the best of luck on this year. I can't wait to start seeing your guys out there covering them and lauding on everything they're going to be doing this year behind Coach Rocco Dobran.
Hey, we appreciate you and all you do for this county, Sam. So you've done a lot for us over the past several years as the county. So we appreciate that.
Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate you, and we'll get you back here real soon.
All right, sounds good.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation